Her name carries an almost magnetic pull. There are a lot of things men notice that naturally force them to be drawn to Olivia Dabo. And not all of it is in her looks, but it's certainly a good place to start. She has unfiltered beauty. Olivia Dabo had the kind of beauty that turned heads, but it wasn't intimidating or out of reach. It was the kind of beauty that felt real, like someone you could actually meet. She wasn't just stunning, she was approachable. That combination made her unforgettable. Her role as Karen Arnold in The Wonder Years is a perfect example of how Olivia's looks weren't just about appearances. They told a story. Playing the rebellious, free-spirited older sister, she embodied the essence of hippie chic. Karen had the long, flowing hair, the earthy outfits, and a natural glow that screamed, "I'm not trying too hard, but I'm still the coolest person in the room." Men loved that. Olivia didn't look overdone or untouchable. She had a soft, natural vibe that made her relatable. Her big, expressive eyes seemed to hold 1,000 stories, and her radiant smile could light up a room. In The Wonder Years, she wasn't some untouchable Hollywood starlet. She felt like the cool girl who lived down the street, the one who'd invite you to talk about life, music, and dreams. What set Olivia apart was how she used her looks to bring depth to Karen Arnold. Karen wasn't just a pretty face. She was a character with ideals and struggles, and Olivia's natural beauty enhanced that. In scenes where Karen is standing up for what she believes in or navigating her complicated relationship with her family, you see her beauty take on new layers. She wasn't just physically beautiful. There was an emotional beauty there too. Men were drawn to her because she seemed genuine, like someone you could fall in love with during a late-night conversation. She didn't fit the mold of a polished Hollywood star, and that made her stand out even more. Olivia had a timeless appeal, with her fresh-faced glow and effortless charm. Whether she was rocking a bohemian dress on screen or flashing a carefree smile, she made an impression that lasted long after the credits rolled. Karen Arnold, with her hippie style and rebellious streak, became an icon of the free-spirited woman. Olivia Dabo's portrayal captured not only the beauty of the character but also her humanity. It's no wonder men adored her. She felt like the perfect mix of unattainable and just within reach. She is a free spirit. Her free-spirited persona is something that immediately grabs attention. It's the kind of vibe you can't fake, an air of independence and individuality that shines through in nearly every role she takes on. There's something magnetic about someone who's unapologetically themselves, and Olivia's characters often embodied that sense of freedom, making her stand out. Take her role as Karen Arnold in The Wonder Years. Now that character was the ultimate symbol of rebellion, especially for a show set during the 1960s counterculture movement. While the rest of her family was grappling with the changes of the time, Karen was the one who seemed to represent the spirit of that era. She was the older sister who wasn't afraid to speak her mind, live on her own terms, and question societal norms. Qualities that, let's be honest, made her incredibly attractive to the men watching. But it wasn't just the character. Olivia herself exuded that same free-spirited energy in real life. She had this effortless confidence, a certain rawness to her, that made her feel like someone who wasn't bound by expectations. That's the thing about Olivia's appeal. She wasn't just playing a role, she was tapping into something that resonated with men on a deeper level. Her confidence, her ideals, her embrace of the unconventional were all things that many men found incredibly attractive. She wasn't trying to fit into any mold, she was creating her own. And let's not forget how that persona made her stand out during a time when Hollywood was full of polished, cookie-cutter images of femininity. In an industry that often pressured women to be perfect, Olivia's authenticity, reflected both in her roles and off-screen presence, was refreshing. She wasn't afraid to break the mold, and that in itself made her irresistible. When men watched Olivia, they didn't just see a pretty face. They saw a woman who was in charge of her own narrative. They saw someone who embodied the ideals of freedom, rebellion, and individuality that many admired but felt they couldn't quite achieve themselves. So, when you think about it, her free-spirited persona was more than just a character trait. It was part of the reason men were drawn to her in the first place. She made it cool to be yourself, and that's something that never goes out of style. Her incredible talent. Now, if you're talking about Olivia Dabo, you can't ignore her immense talent, which spans across acting, voice work, and even music. She's not just a one-trick pony, and that's one of the things that really pulls people in. Whether she's delivering a tense performance in a crime drama or voicing a character in an animated series, Olivia's versatility is something that makes her stand out. Men don't just find her attractive because she's gorgeous. They also admire the depth and range of her skills. Take her role in Law & Order, Criminal Intent, for example. She stepped into the crime procedural world with a performance that was both intense and nuanced. She was far from a typical damsel in distress character. Her portrayal was smart, calculating, and totally compelling. In a genre that relies on sharp intellect and emotional depth, Olivia held her own, showcasing that she could do more than just light-hearted roles. And that's just the beginning. Olivia's talent doesn't stop at acting. She's also contributed her voice to some iconic animated series like Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Her voice work is no joke. Her ability to bring characters to life with just her vocal cords adds another layer to her allure. It's not just about being heard. It's about how you're heard. And Olivia's voice has that rare quality, distinctive and captivating. It draws you in, whether it's in a voice acting role or even a regular performance. But that's not all. Olivia is a musician as well, which adds another fascinating layer to her personality. She's not just a talented actress or voice artist. She's a creative force across multiple platforms. Her music is where you get to see another side of her, a side that's raw and creative, full of emotion and originality. The fact that she can seamlessly switch from acting to music shows just how multifaceted she is. She's not just relying on one skill set to stay in the spotlight. She's continuously evolving, creating and exploring new ways to express herself. Men, of course, appreciate this kind of versatility. It's not just about watching someone in a movie or TV show and then forgetting about them once the credits roll. With Olivia, there's a sense that you're witnessing a true artist at work, someone who can shine in different mediums and consistently deliver something captivating. It's that level of talent that keeps her intriguing, making her someone you can't quite put into a box. Whether she's on screen, in a recording studio, or behind a microphone, Olivia Dabo's talent is undeniable, and that only adds to the attraction. Her voice is captivating. There's something about her voice that grabs your attention instantly. It's not just sultry, it's distinctive, rich, and unforgettable. It's the kind of voice that makes you stop what you're doing and listen. Whether she's speaking or singing, you can hear the depth, the warmth, and a certain smoothness in her tone that gives every word weight. It's the kind of voice that leaves an impression, and that's something a lot of men find incredibly alluring. Take her work in voice acting, for example. She brought a unique essence to her roles, and her voice was a huge part of that. In Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Olivia lent her vocal talents to characters in a way that made them feel more alive, more real. Even without being physically present, the depth of her voice added layers to her characters, giving them both personality and gravitas. It wasn't just about the dialogue. It was how she said it. Every syllable she delivered felt like it had been crafted, almost like music. That's how powerful her voice is. It has the ability to captivate, even in animated form. And then, of course, there's her singing voice. Olivia's musical career also highlights the beauty and richness of her vocal range. Her voice isn't just for acting, it's a tool of expression, one that gives her an even deeper sense of allure. There's a subtle sensuality to her singing, a smoothness that makes her sound effortless, yet undeniably captivating. It's the kind of voice that feels intimate, like she's speaking directly to you, and men are drawn to that sense of connection. But here's the thing, Olivia's voice is more than just pleasant to listen to, it's memorable. You know it the moment you hear it, and that's a rare quality to have in an industry where voices often blend into the background. There's a depth and resonance to her tone that makes her unforgettable, and that's exactly what draws people in, especially men who can't help but be entranced by it. So, whether she's voicing a character in an animated series, singing a haunting melody, or simply speaking her lines, Olivia's voice adds a level of intrigue and appeal that few can match. It's just one more thing that makes her not only captivating but downright irresistible. She is intellectual and artistic. Olivia Dabo is so much more than just a pretty face or a talented actress. There's a depth to her that speaks to her intellect and creativity. Her interests extend far beyond the confines of Hollywood, and that's something that draws men to her on a different level. She has this rare combination of intelligence, artistic flair, and a genuine curiosity about the world that makes her both intriguing and inspiring. Her passion for music and songwriting is one of the most obvious outlets for her creativity. Olivia doesn't just perform. She's involved in the entire process, writing songs and using music as a form of expression. This artistic side of her is something men admire because it shows she's not just following a script, she's actively creating, sharing a piece of herself with the world. The vulnerability and emotional depth that comes through in her music reveal a side of her that is open, authentic, and frankly, incredibly attractive. Beyond the world of music, Olivia's intellectual curiosity adds yet another layer to her charm. She's not someone who's content with surface-level knowledge. She dives deep into the things that interest her. Whether it's philosophy, literature, or the arts, Olivia has always shown a strong interest in understanding the world around her. And that level of intellectual engagement is something that appeals to men who appreciate a woman who can challenge them, who has her own perspectives and ideas. What's particularly striking is how Olivia combines her intellect with her artistic pursuits. It's not just about being book smart or artsy. She blends both seamlessly, creating a persona that feels well-rounded and grounded. Men find that incredibly attractive because it's rare to find someone who is both intelligent and creatively expressive. There's a certain gravitas to her that sets her apart from others in the industry, and that's what keeps people, especially men, drawn to her. Her depth makes her the kind of person who can have a conversation that's both stimulating and meaningful. She's not just the woman you want to look at on screen. She's the one you want to sit down with, have a drink, and talk about life, art, and everything in between. It's that rare combination of intellectual and artistic depth that makes Olivia Dabo not only captivating but incredibly admirable. A reminder of simpler times. There's something uniquely captivating about Olivia Dabo's role in the Wonder Years. For many men, she's forever tied to a simpler, more idealized version of their youth. The show itself is a love letter to nostalgia, and Olivia, as Karen Arnold, plays a pivotal part in that. Men who grew up watching The Wonder Years remember her not just as a character, but as a symbol of a time that felt more innocent, more carefree, before the pressures and complexities of adulthood set in. Karen Arnold was the older sister who was always a little bit rebellious, a little bit ahead of her time, and a lot of men saw her as the cool older sibling they wished they had. She wasn't the perfect all-American girl. She had flaws, she made mistakes, and that made her feel real. That's what made her so appealing. Men didn't just fall in love with Karen because she was cute. They admired her because she embodied a spirit of freedom and independence that resonated with their own youthful dreams. She was a character that many men idealized, the kind of woman they could see themselves in a world of infinite possibilities with. And that sense of nostalgia doesn't fade with time. When people look back on the Wonder Years, Olivia's portrayal of Karen Arnold remains etched in their memories. For men, she's a reminder of their youth, of a time when life felt like it was full of potential and the future was unwritten. It's not just about watching reruns or remembering a character. It's about tapping into those feelings of longing for a time before responsibilities took over, before everything became complicated. Olivia's role is a time capsule, keeping the past alive in the hearts of fans, making her not just a character, but a part of their cherished memories. The nostalgia surrounding Karen Arnold, and by extension, Olivia Dabo, is a powerful force. It's why men can look back on those episodes and feel that tug on their hearts. Olivia's portrayal of Karen isn't just a performance, it's a moment in time that takes them back to their own simpler days, making her a timeless symbol of youth and possibility. She mastered dual personalities. One of the things that makes Olivia Dabo so captivating is how she effortlessly combines strength and vulnerability in her performances. This duality is especially evident in two of her most memorable roles, Karen Arnold from The Wonder Years and Nicole Wallace from Law & Order: Criminal Intent. These characters, though vastly different, share one thing in common. They embody both the strength to stand their ground and the vulnerability that makes them relatable, human, and frankly, magnetic. Take Karen Arnold first. On the surface, she's the rebellious older sister who challenges the norms, isn't afraid to voice her opinions, and often seems like she has everything under control. But beneath that tough exterior, Karen is also dealing with the complex emotions of growing up, figuring out who she is, and navigating relationships. Olivia played her with such depth that you could see the internal struggle between independence and the vulnerability of wanting love and acceptance. It's this push and pull that made Karen Arnold such a compelling character. Men saw her as a symbol of the complexities of life, strong yet soft, confident yet unsure at times. That balance is powerful and relatable, and it's part of what makes Karen Arnold and Olivia so appealing. Then there's Nicole Wallace, Olivia's role in Law & Order, Criminal Intent. Nicole is cunning, manipulative, and intellectually sharp, a character that demands respect and fear, but she's also a character filled with emotional complexity. While she appears cold and calculating, you sense a deeper, more vulnerable side to her. Someone who's been shaped by her past, someone who's struggling with her own demons. Olivia brings a layer of humanity to Nicole that makes her more than just a villain. Her strength and her intelligence and power is matched by the emotional fragility she subtly conveys, making Nicole Wallace a character that keeps you on edge. Men are drawn to this side of Olivia's acting. Her ability to make even the most ruthless characters feel real, feel like they have depth and emotion that can't be ignored. The combination of strength and vulnerability is incredibly attractive. It speaks to the idea that being powerful doesn't mean you have to shut down your emotions or your softness. Olivia portrays these characters in a way that makes them feel both unbreakable and deeply human at the same time. That's what makes them and her so captivating. Men are drawn to that balance because it shows them that strength isn't about being invincible. It's about embracing all parts of yourself, even the vulnerable ones. Magnetic, off-screen. While Olivia Dabo's on-screen presence is undoubtedly magnetic, her off-screen personality only adds to the allure. She's not just a woman of talent and beauty. She's also known for being warm, down-to-earth, and downright relatable. There's something undeniably attractive about someone who can command attention on screen, yet remain grounded and approachable in real life. Men are drawn to this authenticity because it shows that Olivia is not just a character or a persona. She's the real deal, with all the charm and humility that make her even more captivating. In interviews and behind-the-scenes moments, Olivia has always come across as someone with a great sense of humor and a genuine love for life. She doesn't take herself too seriously, which is incredibly refreshing in an industry where many stars seem to be wrapped up in their own fame. Olivia's candidness and the ease with which she connects with people make her seem like someone you could sit down with and have a genuine conversation. No pretensions, no facade. It's this relatability that makes her feel more human, more like someone you'd want to hang out with in your own life. And let's not forget her quick wit and natural charm. Olivia has an ability to light up a room with her presence, but it's not just her looks, it's her personality. Men are drawn to that confidence, that easy confidence that comes from knowing who she is without needing validation from anyone. Whether she's cracking a joke or sharing a heartfelt thought, Olivia's personality off-screen makes her even more endearing. She's the kind of woman who makes you feel comfortable, who makes you want to be around her just because of how she makes you feel, like you can be yourself too. In short, Olivia's off-screen personality only enhances her on-screen allure. It's a rare thing to find someone who is not only stunning, but also so down-to-earth and relatable. Men admire her for that, and it's part of what keeps her in the hearts of fans long after the credits roll. She is mysterious. There's something really magnetic about the mystique Olivia Dabo carries with her. It's not about trying to be mysterious on purpose, she's just naturally got it. It's like she doesn't need to shout for attention, she just has this quiet, powerful energy that makes you want to know more about her. And it's not because she's playing hard to get or hiding anything, it's just a part of who she is. She doesn't lay everything out there for the world to see. Instead, she lets you in on her terms. And that leaves you with the feeling that there's a lot more to discover. That's part of what makes her so intriguing. Olivia has this amazing ability to keep certain things just out of reach, which makes people, especially men, want to know more. It's like reading a really good book. You can't wait to turn the next page, but you also have to wait for the story to unfold at its own pace. It's that slow reveal that keeps you hooked and makes her even more fascinating. In Hollywood, where pretty much everyone's life is under a microscope, Olivia stands out because she's kept her personal life pretty private. She's open about her career, sure, but when it comes to her relationships and the little details of her life, she keeps those to herself. And that's part of what makes her so captivating. It's like she's this rare treasure that you can admire from afar but can't fully possess, unless you're lucky enough to get close. That kind of privacy adds to her allure. People respect that she keeps things to herself, and it makes them even more curious about her. For men, that creates this dynamic where they want to know more, but they don't feel like they're being forced to get it. The mystery of her personal life makes her feel like this fascinating puzzle that they're trying to figure out. Not because there's something shady going on, but because there's clearly more to her than meets the eye. And that's the magic of it. Olivia never gives it all away. She keeps you guessing, which keeps you watching, wondering, and admiring her all the more.